This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Good morning, Lynners, and everyone else watching. Welcome to another episode of the LCTV News and the official start of spring. With this new season comes grand announcements from several city and state organizations, as well as a collaboration between Lynn and the neighboring town of Swampscott. So let's jump right in with the news for Friday, March 21st, 2025. Leo Inc. has officially opened their new Early Childhood Education Center. Spanning 3 floors and 15 classrooms, this space can accommodate 270 children. It also encapsulates Leo's larger mission of improving the lives of 10,000 individuals in the region each year. To this end, the center also has a dedicated family resource space, an expanded kitchen and nutrition center, and several specialized play areas. Classrooms and family spaces have also been themed to meet the diverse needs of the families Leo serves, including cozy corners and areas for arts, crafts, and science experiments. This space also features resources for the entire family, including child therapists, family case managers, and administrative offices. Last fall, Leo secured a grant for the first time in 15 years for this project, and Lisa McFadden, their Director of Development and Communications, is confident that this expansion will allow them to better serve the community as a whole. Rashawn Benefield, 39 of Lynn, was ordered held without bail after a police raid at his home uncovered multiple firearms, including untraceable ghost guns, ammunition, and drugs. The Lynn Police Department, in coordination with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, executed a search warrant on March 13th at the Kerwin Circle residence as part of an ongoing investigation. Benefield was arraigned in Lynn District Court on March 14th on 14 charges, including 7 counts of possessing untraceable firearms, possession of a firearm without an FID card, possession of a large capacity feeding device, unlawful possession of ammunition, possession of a silencer, and possession of a firearm while committing a felony. He was ordered held without bail under a Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 276, which allows for suspects deemed dangerous to be detained pre-trial. According to police, they found several unfinished firearm parts, assembly tools, and a gun kit lacking serial numbers. In examining the contraband, ATF agents confirmed that Benefield possessed all the necessary tools to build fully functioning firearms. His most recent court appearance was yesterday, March 20th. Events in the first half of this week were all about Irish heritage and the celebration of St. Patrick's Day. First up, the Ancient Order of the Hibernian organized an Irish flag raising at City Hall to celebrate the importance of Irish Americans in the community.
Hello. Welcome everybody and express a very happy St. Patrick's Day weekend. Celebrate this day in commemoration of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. Passed away back in 461 AD, and this is for all the good that he has done over, starting out with the Catholic faith here from Ireland, and it has traveled over here to America. and all our ancestors and everything, all the good that they have done over the years. We're celebrating all that so that we can have a beautiful life here in America.
I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. Have a great weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes. The afternoon of the 17th, LHAND was bursting with green and shamrocks for their 27th annual St. Patrick's Day luncheon. This event began as a way to both recognize contributions from people in the community while also offering an alternative to the more traditional forms of celebration on this holiday.
Most of all, I want to wish everyone a very happy St. Patrick's Day. It's true that we are an incredibly diverse city, and that gives us an opportunity to reflect and celebrate a lot of different heritages. And the Irish one is a particular special place in the city's history, in the city's present, in the city's future.
And we are here at our annual alcohol-free luncheon for St. Patrick's Day. It is an event that started some 28 years ago through a grant through the City of Lynn and the Lynn Housing Authority called Reclaim Our Community. We called it ROC. That particular committee was anti-drug and alcohol. And that particular committee, we had staffing, but we had a lot of people in the community involved with it. And they wanted to start an alternative to your, I guess, common St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's a little different than we have here. And so it was supported by then Mayor McManus, and every mayor since that has supported, and we're fortunate we received a lot of support from the mayor and the city council on this as well. And this is one of the few things really that sustained itself through the years. And we're real proud of it. A lot of the same people. A lot of people have passed. But today, the enthusiasm and the crowd was probably the largest crowd that we've had. And we're really pleased. What it does is kicks off our fundraising event for our scholarship fundraisers. We give up to $25,000 a year. And today, we're really pleased that we probably doubled the amount of money we made than we have in the past. So that's exciting. And, you know, the award winners are all people involved in the community, do a great job, and just happy to be able to recognize them.
The Healy-Driscoll administration is gearing up for the 2025 Summer Eats program, and they're looking for additional organizations to sponsor meal sites. Summer Eats provides children 18 and younger with free meals during the summer months, when they no longer have access to school meals. Meal sites can include schools, parks, camps, or other community locations. Last summer, 129 sponsoring organizations fed thousands of students at more than 1,000 sites. A sponsor can be a nonprofit organization, school department, local government, or camp. Sponsors overseeing one or more meal sites are responsible for all financial and administrative tasks. The Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education administering the program and providing technical support. Most sites open by July 4th and will run through the end of August. If you are interested in learning more or signing up to be a sponsor, contact Project Bread. On Monday, March 17th, the Executive Office of Veteran Services Women Veterans Network opened nominations for the 2025 Deborah Sampson Award, recognizing a Massachusetts woman veteran who has demonstrated exemplary leadership, service, and advocacy for fellow women veterans. The award is named after the Revolutionary War hero Deborah Sampson, who disguised herself as a man to serve in the Continental Army. Her legacy lives on in all the women veterans who continue to serve and lead in their communities. Interested parties can visit the Massachusetts State website to learn more and/or submit a nomination. All nominations must include an overview of the nominee's military service and achievements, details on challenges she has overcome, her contributions to the veteran community, and why she is an outstanding candidate for this honor. The deadline to submit nominations is April 25th, with the award being presented at the annual Women Veterans Appreciation Day ceremony in June. The City of Lynn and the Town of Swampscott held a joint meeting to present updates on Kings Beach. Members of the local and state government were in attendance, as well as representatives from nonprofit groups such as Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, DCR, and DEP. Here's a clip from the event.
And Gino said pipes are 100 years old. I mean, they go back to some of the 1890s, even older. And they're very, very old. So it's really simple. You know, the source is bad pipes, old pipes, and the technology is there. The technology is very cost effective, and we've been finding some good gains. Gino was referring to Stetson Ave, so that was in our second construction phase. One of our monitoring points, we had concentrations at 20,000 CFU, which is, you know, effectively raw sewage. And we're down to under 200 after the construction. So that's a 100-fold decrease in that one test area.
We all understand and agree that the source elimination is the #1 priority. But the next part of this meeting is why we're exploring other alternatives and what those other alternatives is.
The top-ranked Spartan girls won the Division III MIAA State Championship 46-38 over third-seeded Norwell. They're third in the last 4 years. They have been the definition of dominance. With this win, St. Mary's Athletics also extends their streak to 18 consecutive years of at least one team winning a state championship. One of the biggest storylines all year was Bella Awumi, and she did not disappoint. Awumi scored 14 of her 19 points in the first half, including a trio of triples. The Spartans went into halftime up 26-18, behind strong play by Reese Matila, 9 points, Juliana Conte, and Awumi. In the third, the Clippers made a few runs, but any time they came within one possession, St. Mary's answered with a shot of their own, including a 3 from Lily Norton in the fourth and the closer from Conte. As for strategy, the Spartans stayed with their strategy of stifling defense. Normal had a chance to hit 40 points, but Awumi blocked the shot, resulting in a turnover and 46-38 final. The Celtics are back in the win column, scraping out a 115-113 win over the Brooklyn Nets on the 15th. Kristaps Porzingis led the way with 24 points, but it was Peyton Pritchard's 22-point, 6-rebound night that was the headline. Pritchard hit his 219 three-pointer off the bench to set a new NBA record. As a team, Boston was shooting at 52%, which they needed, as they saw their halftime lead shrink from 12-2 and barely hung on for the win. Boston captured their 50th win, 104-96, again over the Nets the night of the 18th. Learn more about the North Shore CDC, a group based in Salem, Massachusetts, serving communities up and down the North Shore. Hear more about their youth services, community builds, and ever-growing mural collection on this week's Lowdown.
Good afternoon, happy Monday, and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we are welcoming on the North Shore CDC. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Great. So we'll start off with an easy one. Would you mind just going down the line, telling us your name and then your role or title?
My name is Shantewl, Alix. I'm the Director of Community Building for North Shore CDC.
I am Jasmine, Graddy, and I am the Director of Workforce Development at YouthBuild North Shore.
Cool. Santiago, Sanchez, pronouns he, him, él, Director of the Punto Art Museum.
Great. So before we dive into what you all do specifically, would you be able to give just a brief overview of the mission of the North Shore CDC? Anyone?
Yeah, we invest in neighborhoods to create thriving communities.
Great.
That's how we do it. And we do that through affordable housing, workforce development, and a lot of different types of programs in the community.
I like it. Short, sweet, direct. And based on your website, you all do a ton of work in all different communities. Since we're here to talk about Lynn, I guess, Shantewl, I'll start with you. You are in charge of the community building. So what sort of programs do you run either in Lynn or for Lynn residents?
Sure. Most of my programs, residents from Lynn can actually have access to. We have a free income tax preparation program that people can apply. It's appointment only. The idea is that residents will call, set up an appointment, and can tackle into that. We have a small business technical assistant program when we provide one-on-one consultation on business that already exists or businesses that people who are inspiring to have their own business. We also have a pop-up incubator space that people will rent for free.
Wow.
We do computer classes, and we do pretty much anything that is community building related. People can call and ask for that.
Nice. That's great. And then we move over to the younger section, the YouthBuild. Jasmine, that's your department. So would you be able to explain a little bit about that? It's a place where students can learn more at their own pace, kind of an alternative to maybe more traditional learning.
Yeah, YouthBuild North Shore is a workforce development program that helps young people 16 to 24 obtain their high school equivalency diploma, as well as learn a trade in either construction, culinary and hospitality, or healthcare.
So that, I mean, that can be extremely useful, especially now in this day and age. It's a way to learn a skill and then be able to go right out into the workforce and use it, right?
Yeah, the majority of our young people do come from the city of Lynn, but we do serve the North Shore. And our program is a little bit different from other alternative programs just because we do offer wraparound services.
Okay.
So young people coming in, they'll have a case manager, a life coach where they would meet with them once a week to work on their goals, track progress, and just to check in, just for additional support.
So, and then the last point we're going to hit is the art section. You're director for an urban art center, which is based in Salem, is that correct?
Yeah, specifically in the Point neighborhood in San Mauro, Punto neighborhood. And how that directly ties into like the residents you have here in Lynn is we do open calls on an annual basis, and these are open up to all Massachusetts artists. So we have a local artist wall located on PBG Street, and then there's a couple of Lynn artists that have murals on and part of that project right now.
You say these all sound really interesting, and they may sound individual in nature, but I would assume there's quite a bit of overlap between your programs as well. If you want to speak on that at all.
Yeah, so YouthBuild participants are AmeriCorps participants, and so all of our young people have to do 450 hours of community service.
Wow.
And so we work a lot with the community building department as well as the Punto Urban Arts Museum. If they need help or support, especially when they're doing things in the community, our AmeriCorps members are there to support.
Nice. And one thing I noticed about Community Build too, when you were talking about, the one-on-one counseling, one focus is on women or minority-owned businesses. Why do you think that's so important to highlight?
It's very important to highlight because there's a lot of resources across the state, and usually when you look at data, those are the populations that usually don't get those resources. So we have made it our focus to make sure that the outreach is out into the people who need it the most. And our program design it's created so that it's supporting those communities specifically.
And then in terms of outreach and how that works, we're speaking about business, workforce. If they are, let's say, an artist in Lynn, someone who's interested in creating more of a mural, how does that work with?
Yeah, so the open calls that go out specifically will look for artists that live in Massachusetts. And so when they submit like a portfolio or an idea for the mural they want to create, and then they'll work directly with our team to create those murals. Oftentimes we work with the YouthBuild specifically with the students. We'll have opportunities to meet those artists and work with those artists. Like we have a gallery show opening up next week, and the students were the ones coming in doing repairs on the wall, painting the walls, getting the space ready for the artwork that's going to be put on display.
And are there any kinds of age limits for artists who can work, or is it?
Yeah, no age limits, no limitations on where they work, no limits at all. Yeah.
Say that's really cool. Very really opens it up. And you have, what was it, 75 full-scale murals, which is very impressive.
Yeah, quite a few murals throughout the neighborhood. And then on the local artist wall, there's 20 murals that are there as well. So there's quite a bit to see.
Yeah, driving around Salem or any of the places in the North Shore, murals are really starting to pop up. They're becoming very common forms of public art, which is amazing to see. Before the show began, but you've all been working there now for several years. So what would you say you've seen as the largest impact from the North Shore CDC, or maybe your favorite memory you've had throughout the years?
Well, I feel like I have so many, but one of them that's really important for me is when we have alumni to come back and give updates on where they're at in life. We just recently had a graduate, Tamara Flowers, who was also a resident here in Lynn, but just moved. She was in the program in 2018, and she just graduated early this year. Wow. And had she been in traditional educational training, they might have pushed her out because of her age. But the fact that, she was here with us, she pushed, she did what she needed to do, there was ups and downs, but she got through it. And for her to come back to be like, I'm a high school graduate, I have my Surf Safe manager certificate. She wants to be her own chef. She wants to have her own business and cooking. And actually, she just cooked for our Black History Month alumni meeting. So if you guys are looking for someone to cater, she does small events. But things like that, when alumni come back and they have these success stories and they want to give back and give to the newer participants that are in the program, it means a lot to us. So just alumni successes and updates, and for them to come back and pour into the new young people coming into the program. That's one of the successes.
Yeah, one of many, I'm sure.
Yeah, very similar to me. I would say we started doing computer classes recently when the pandemic happened. It was sort of like a wake-up call for us, understanding the digital gap that existed in communities. But being able to see, last year we were able to engage about 56 people just in computer classes who graduated the program. We provide free computers to them for participating. Being able, grandmothers scheduling their flights to their home country was very inspiring. But in community development, I do see, anytime I see a resident doing something for themselves is something that I find joy in personally.
I would say for me it would be our Mural Ambassador program, which is specifically training residents to be the ones who are giving mural tours and also being like the attendants for like our program spaces. And so we actually have one resident, Lynn resident, who's participating in the program, Marino Roque. She's actually a YouthBuild graduate. And so this is a really great way for like folks to engage with the museum, have agency in the work that we're doing, but also be able to like put forth like the pride that they have, in the beautiful artwork that's here in Massachusetts.
And what all three of you just touched upon is it's a very full circle organization. You have people come through the program, and then many of them come and give back, and it just keeps cycling, which is a very impressive thing that you've been able to create because there's so much passion with it. And I know it goes by so quickly that I do have to wrap up in a moment, but was there anything else that any of you wanted to mention that I hadn't touched upon before we wrap up?
For sure. So YouthBuild is currently enrolling. So if you are a 16 to 24 out-of-school youth that is looking to get their high school equivalency diploma, we would love for you to come by. We're located in Salem on 96 Lafayette Street. Just walk right in. We're there 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 3:30.
Awesome.
I'll also say if people are interested in applying for affordable housing, there's a waiting list. 6 months to 2 years.
Wow.
But I always encourage people to apply because if there's 10 people in front of you and they don't qualify, you might be next. We provide translation services and we help folks complete their application. So if people want to just reach out and set up an appointment for that will be helpful too.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I would think I'd focus on our local artist wall. We're going to be changing those murals out in August and putting out an open call in May, June. So that's a great opportunity for any artists that are living in Lynn to participate in the work that we're doing.
So we have some really exciting upcoming opportunities with all, and I'm wicked excited to see where it goes and how you just keep building. But I want to thank you all again so much for coming on to share this really amazing program with the Lynn community.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Of course, thank you anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.
Celebrate Greek Independence Day with the Greek flag raising at City Hall the afternoon of the 25th. From 4 to 5 p.m. next Tuesday, join the St. George Greek Orthodox Church to celebrate their independence with speeches and traditional clothing. This event is open to everyone in the public, Greek and beyond. That same night, walk inside City Hall for a young woman mental health panel in the auditorium from 6:30 to 8 p.m. This panel will offer both personal and professional experiences to create a safe space to explore mental health challenges faced by young women. The discussion will also provide insight as to how mental health affects this specific demographic. Panelists will also include youth from Girls Inc. and the Boys and Girls Club. Take part in the second installation of the High Rock Tower Starry Nights program, presented by the Community Development Department. From 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 26th, come for a chance to see several celestial wonders, including Jupiter, Mars, and the Orion Nebula. This is a free event, but the dome has an occupancy limit of 15, so pre-registration is required. There will also be a secondary telescope set up on the lawn for those who cannot or do not wish to traverse the 100 stairs to the top of the tower. Given that this event is weather dependent, a confirmation or cancellation email will be sent by 2 p.m. on the 26th. There is the final buzzer on this week's broadcast. If you want more information on any of the events or headlines listed and access to our VOD, head to lyntv.org. To stay informed on all that is happening around the city, including breaking news and live updates, follow @Lynn Community TV on social media. If you are unable to attend an event but wish to see a recap, Lynn Community Television on YouTube is the place for you. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.